Well, hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream, and another chapter, chapter 22. Working on this guy right there. That is our General Lee 1/16 scale by MPC. Run the intro, see if we can finish this soon. Okay guys, we're back. We're going to continue on the build. Last time we got what I consider to be a major step in our progress, and that is putting the chassis to the frame, or the body to the frame. How about that? Body to the chassis, chassis to the frame, body to the frame, body to the chassis, whatever you want to call it. The body's on the frame thing, and the underneath is in the inside with the top on it. Okay, how about that? And as you might notice, I got a couple of wheels on here too. Let's do that first. We're going to put our rear wheels on. One thing I noticed, my front wheels, maybe I should have checked my actual tire width, because these tires are really rubbing up against the fender. And now I understand why MPC just rounded them off and made them like NASCARs. Anyway, let's put our rear tires on. Okay, let's put this down. We need to grab our little pins that go in there. I have those set aside here in the gas tank so that I don't lose them. Because, you know, it's been like, how long has it been since I've been doing this? Over a month? Something like that. I got a couple of tires back here behind me. One and two. Okay. Fortunately, these tires are not directional, so it really does not matter there's no lefts, rights, forwards, reverse, whatever. Let's change the camera and have a look here. So, simple enough process. We just put the tire on there and we push our pin through. It's as simple like that, right? Is it really? Well, it's in theory. In theory, the front pins I found were quite stiff, and it's a tight fit. My rear ones, this one is kind of, it kind of slid in really easy up until that point, and now it's wanting me to put some pressure on it. I should be able to get it in all the way, and it won't go. So we're going to pull that back out, and I'm going to have to trim it. Let's use something to try and pry that out now that it's in there tight. Let's see if I can wedge this in there, pry that out without really breaking anything. Nope. Let's try some needle nose pliers. See if I can grip on that, twist it maybe. Come on. She don't want to come. Okay. Nippers. I'm not cutting. I'm just putting it on there to pry. She don't want to go. Come on, man. How about fingernails? This is not a good start to a video. I could just leave it loose like that. Wow, come on, man. We're going to keep trying. We are going to keep trying. I got it. Yay. Okay. Because of the length of this thing, I think is the problem. So if I trim, trim off about the amount that I need, like that. Because obviously I'm just running into some kind of an issue on the inside of the axle there. You know, they didn't exactly go precise with their holes. Okay, that goes all the way now. So it's just a matter of lining that up on the axle. So the question now is, do I just leave it like this? Because this wheel really doesn't, it's not exactly the best alignment for this thing. I actually think I'm just going to glue the wheel on. I don't care if it rolls, so I'm just going to glue it like that. I'm going to, now that my pin is a little bit more loose, I'm going to just pull that out. And I'm going to apply, even though this is resin, my brake discs are resin, I'm still going to put glue right on there. And now when my pin goes in, it's going to get lots of glue on it as it slides in. If I can get it lined up. There we go. Okay, get my wheel centered. There we go. And I'm going to now use my extra thin and get in there. And that wheel is going to be glued permanent now. And I'm okay with that because it doesn't really matter to me. Now I'm going to preemptively do the same with the other side. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Like so. Since I already know I'm going to have problems. Now the other problem I'm going to have, this wheel is going to want to shove up in there because of the lack of a really positive alignment on it. When I set the car down on its wheels. So I'm going to have to set it down on its roof for the next little while. And if I go like this, it's going to hit the wheel. It's going to do funny things. So I'm just going to try and prevent that by grabbing some paints here for me to sit the body down on so that it's sitting not on the wheel, but somewhere else. And of course, I put it right down on my paint. There we go. Okay. My paints, of course, they're going to want to move, but that's okay. I'm going to do the same thing. First of all, let's test fit this. With a little twist, that goes in, and it goes in quite far. So that's good. Okay. So, on her roof, there we go. Let's get this glue. Right in the middle there, fill up that hole. You always like it when you fill the holes. Line that up there. A twisty twist. And she should go in. There we go. All the way down, please. Thank you much. Line that up on there as best as I can. That wheel centered. They're not the most precision center caps, let's put it that way. All right, so she's looking like a four-wheeled car now. So we're going to keep her on our roof for the next little while. Put all my little paints back where I had them. And we can now focus on something else. Now that the tires are on, now last time I was getting ready to start working on our front bumper and I realized I had to paint this. So I got this all painted and I painted up the little lights there. Okay, so I got little silver little driving lights. And let's flip this over so we got our front end. This is going to go down right in this little panel here. Holy crap, that don't fit no more. This used to fit at one time. Look at the gap there. That don't fit at all. And it's probably because of my, I'm willing to bet it's because of my boy. Well, I could put some piece of styrene in there, a couple of pieces, one on each side, and just have that kind of sitting there. I could just glue it to this at the bottom there. If I put my grill in, see, the grill fits. She's actually a little tight. No, she don't fit. All right, guys. So I'm discovering an issue here. My grill is hitting this piece here. The grill needs to go in deeper. I'm okay on the passenger side, but not on the driver's side. The driver's side, she's too far out. I'm gonna have to notch this thing. I have to cut that right out there and eliminate this piece underneath the fender to get that to fit. So that kind of sucks. But what I can do is work on, I don't want to fire up my Dremel right now. It's a little too early in the morning. That's a little obnoxious and not very thoughtful of other people. So we're going to switch gears and look at the back. My little panel that needs to go on the back here. She's okay, but she actually gets glued to the bumper. So let's just put her little car down here. Little in the figurative sense. This guy is going to go in right here like this. So there's a couple of little spots in the center. We can get it lined up there. And we can put some glue there. And I think I want to use a little CA glue and run it along the sides. But we're going to use regular glue. For the center. The trick is, where do I hold it while I glue it? I want to use some CA glue just for strength. I can use my extra thin along here, but I want to use CA glue just to add a little strength to it, because it literally is just sitting on there. So I'm going to leave this for a minute and let the glue do its thing. Okay, I'm actually going to put the clip on this so I can just have it literally sitting upright like this, and just let that sit and glue like that. So I'm going to put this over here out of my way so I don't bump it. I'm going to take a look at our taillights. So remember, I glued these lenses in last time, and I've got a little bit of schmutz on it for some reason. Somehow I got some white schmutz on my red lenses. Anyway, so that's what they're looking like now. I need to determine what part gets contact on the back of this car so that I know what part of the chrome to scrape off so that I get good contact. So our tail light lenses are going to go in like this. So basically, everywhere the backside of the actual chrome surround. So I can get rid of a strip of it here. I'm going to try using my file. Fortunately, MPC did not really do a fantastic chrome job on these, and so the chrome comes off pretty easily. So do that. I'm going to go around the whole thing. It isn't exactly flat, so you have to get through in different sections. Just get through and do this edge here. Careful not to actually scrape the chrome off the outside chrome trim. Just trying to get rid of this little edge where it's going to contact the plastic on the body. Okay, there's one side. So there's that. Okay, so just get just behind the bezel, just behind that trim, right? That's all I need. This side is where it's going to contact on the body for installation. All right. So let's get the glue ready. Grab this and tail light 1 pressed into place and going from the inside. This is kind of nice that I've got the trunk lid removed because I can get in from this stuff, get in on the back side on this stuff. Okay, where'd my camera go? Okay, one tail light in. Let's get this one in. It just kind of drops in. It was a tight fit when it had the chrome on it. Now it's a little bit looser. A little bit looser. It is a little difficult to get underneath. Like I can't really get in an angle in there, so I don't want to adjust it. Now, you guys might be criticizing me that I did not paint the back panel of this. I didn't paint this black. And sometimes you see it black, that's what's the problem when you're using over 100 cars. They're not all identical. And that was the show, right? That's just the way it was. I decided we're going to stay orange with this one, okay? And not have the black panel. And that's my choice. That's what I went with. Okay, so we have this guy. He's glued, but I want to add some CA glue to the back of this just to add a little bit of strength to it. Because that's all it's going to be held by is that. So we're just going to add a little bit along here to this edge and in here. There's one side. And there's that side. Okay. I will use a little bit of accelerant on it so that it dries quickly. And then let's do this over here so I don't spray my hand. Here we go. Put this back. All right. And there's our rear bumper and that little filler panel for the bottom. Do a little test fit here. lines up good. Just kind of sits in there like that. I do have some contact on this side, but not this side. And that's just the way the kit is, really. Even though my panel is centered on the bumper, it's just the way it is. I don't have much contact on the bumper along the center, only on the tips. If I scrape the chrome away on the bumper so that I get a good contact, then what happens is you'll be able to see that I've scraped the chrome away. And so that kind of sucks. I don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to glue the bumper on with CA glue. Yeah, I literally have no contact along here. You can see the gap actually. And there's nothing I can do about that. So we're going to use CA glue. The only place I really could use regular glue is right on this corner here, where that is contacting it, but I got no contact here, so there's no point. So CA glue on each tip of each corner of the bumper is what is going to be called for here. Let's put this against over here. I still don't want to put it down on its wheels. I want to give that a good, at least half an hour. Has it been half an hour? Well, it's been about 20 minutes. I want to give it a good half an hour. Okay, so the question is, do I apply it to this or I apply it to the bumper? If I put it on the bumper, I'm going to grab the bumper and then I'm going to have CA glue all over my fingers. So I'm going to apply it on the body. Sorry guys if suddenly that's off camera. Okay, I got lots on that side. Let's put some here. I wish I had contact along the center. That would be a nice thing to be able to do, but I don't. So let's line this up with this, and there we go. And that's it, and that's all I've got. I'm going to run some CA glue. I could use normal glue, but I might as well stick with the CA theme. And I'm going to put it on the inside here. And that'll add a little more strength. Now in a perfect world, I'd put some kind of filler in here and just paint that orange, but yeah, it's just the way it is. It's not perfect. All right, so we're gonna sit this down. And I'm gonna figure out our front bumper now. Again, because this thing is not proper, now we've got two little tabs here where it's connecting here on the bumper, like so. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark off where this needs to mount. Because that tab is right here. Here. So chrome needs to be scraped. That. And like that. And I kind of already scraped the chrome away from the back of these things, but not completely. So let's just get rid of that. It's another thing where I believe I'm going to be using CA glue. I didn't quite get that measured. I need to scrape a little more here. That's better. I want to do this side a little bit wider. That's good. So the only thing now is just making sure this is centered on there. As much as I'd like to glue it to these, yeah, I think I will. I will. Okay. So I'm going to use both. See, I'm going to use my extra thin, which will kind of help hold it there. So I got it centered. I want it centered. Like that. Okay. Okay. A little more there. A little more here. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a minute. As far as the center part, it's really only contacting on that top edge. Okay, I want to let this sit for a minute before I apply the CA glue. That is in a perfect position, so I'm just going to leave it and let our extra thin do its job here. Okay, so just wait a minute, and then we'll apply some CA glue. Okay. All right, so I just want to let this sit for a minute, let that kind of do its magic in melting the plastic and making a good bond, and then I'm going to apply some CA glue so it's a little bit stronger. Okay, so we'll be back in a minute. All right, so it's been a couple of minutes, and I'll just apply a little CA glue on this and give it a little bit of strength. Okay, you can see where I'm applying my glue. I'm going to put a little bit here on this tab and a little here on this tab, and I'm going to kind of build up a little tiny bit on these two little bumper hangy downy things, whatever the heck they're called. I have no idea what they're called. I think hangy downy thing is a good name. Oh, careful. My glue is obviously not cured. gotta be careful where I grab this thing. Okay. Okay, I have a good amount of CA glue on this now. If this ever comes apart, it's going to be because I really did something wrong. And sorry, I guess that was just totally off camera. Now I got my, this is my accelerant, okay? Bob Smith Industries Instaset. Creates a chemical reaction and gives you a very quick setting CA glue. Doesn't smell the greatest though. Okay, so we have that done. Now obviously, like you said, you can't get that in there. Now our little bush guard is supposed to go down here. Something like this. And there really is no place to install it. They did not give us anything to mount this to. They just tell us in the instructions to just glue this to the bottom of the bumper. And it's like, there you go, there's your General Lee, have fun with it. Yeah. But we need to do something better than that. I'm thinking instead of the bumper, we glue it to this bottom valance or whatever you want to call it. Our pegs seem to be just barely long enough to be able to fit in there. But if I add a little bit of styrene to them, I could have a much more positive bond to it. I mean, right there is pretty good. Just like that, but it's just barely touching. So if I can just get it set there, I can add some styrene to it and just kind of build up and make a little bit of a better thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because it is just barely touching. But that's okay. If I could just do this, glue there and glue there, and have some patience. Let's get it centered. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have some patience, and I'm going to sit here like this, and I'm not going to move it for, I'm going to give it 2 whole minutes, okay? And then we'll figure out what I need to do next, okay? I'll be back in 2 minutes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Okay, so it's been 2 minutes, and I'm going to let go of this, and we'll see if it holds. I have a feeling that even though it's been 2 minutes, that it's still going to, as soon as I let go of this, it's going to go and fall off. That's my guess, because it is literally held on by these 2 tiny little corners. The only contact I have is these 2 tiny little corners right there. So let's see, if I just take this and I let go. Yeah. It's just barely hanging on it. So I could, if I were to hang it like this, it might hold. But it's really, I'm really gambling with it. You know what I mean? So, and because of gravity, like I literally need to suspend this in the air like this for it to stay. And that's not good because, well, it makes it so fragile that it's just, that's really sucky. So, what I'm going to do, change the camera back here. I need to figure out a way that I can just kind of place this down and have it on this angle without touching my bar, without my bar touching anything. I want my bar, it's actually not even straight now. It is now. Gravity makes it want to hang at a funny angle. So if I have it like this, and I can suspend it somehow on the edge of something, this, let's grab paints. Paint jars are always really helpful for this. Okay, now I need something taller than those.
Eventually.
Okay, so I've got two that I can use to put on there and see if we can fix this here. Actually give this some stability. Something to attach to on the underside here. So I want to kind of hold this. I want it straight. So I'm just kind of touching it with my finger there, right? And I'm going to put some glue on here, and I'm going to put my styrene right there. Actually, I'm going to use my thicker glue. Use this stuff. If I can open it with one hand, maybe not. Okay, fine. Put this down. There. You happy now? Let's try this again. Hold that straight up and down as much as I can. There we go. Okay. There's one side. Okay. And okay. So those two extra little rods there actually gives it something to push against, even if it's not perfect. And I'll trim those off later, and I'll paint those black so it looks more, a little more aesthetically pleasing. And as the glue does its job, that'll work. So I should be able to let this go and just have this sit maybe like this, and not have to worry about it. I want to put something down here, but I don't want to touch against that. So I need something shorter than that particular paint jar. How about this one? Nope, too tall. Oh, what can I use? Maybe a thing of tape. Yeah, that works. And we can just let that sit. Yeah, perfect. Okay. And now we go back to the waiting game. I'll leave this for about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll come back. Okay? Okay, so it's been almost 5 minutes, and so I think this is probably going to hold on its own now, as long as I don't touch it. Okay, I'll show you on the overhead here. There's our push bar, or bush bar, whatever you want to call it. And I've got it pretty much lined up with the straightness of the lights. Obviously not the bumper, but that should be how it's going to look. And of course, we've got our inside here. I'm going to trim these down so that they line up basically flush with this, and I'll paint those black. Okay, so that is that. That is done. I want to leave this just kind of sitting here like this, and kind of like that. And if she'll cooperate, you know, she was quite fine to sit there before. Okay, but something I did notice. Of course, I've got a lot of 3D printed stuff, including my dashboard is a 3D printed dash, right? So my dash is 3D printed, and as you can see, the lighting's not the greatest, but there it is. But it comes far enough forward that my hood hinges prevented the hood from going back all the way. So I wound up having to trim off my hood hinges, the little things that come out horizontally. But in doing so, what I noticed is when I put the hood down, she sits too low. She's going to sit too low at the back now. She can actually sit lower than the fender, and that's not good. In fact, this whole thing is just not the best fit. And in fact, she sits too low here. I'm hoping the headlights, when they're in, she's going to sit up more level. But the back is not the best. It's just not the best fit. And I'm tempted to just get rid of these hooks completely. But in doing so, she's not going to sit proper. So I think what I want to do is just get a little couple of tabs of styrene and just glue them underneath here, sticking out, so the hood has a positive stop to sit down on, instead of just kind of relying on gravity. You can see how far it sits down here, right? So it's just sitting down underneath the thing. Even if I lift up the front, just lifting up the front just exasperates that and makes it even worse. So before I go, I want to glue in a couple of little pieces. So I've cut a couple of pieces of styrene, just a couple little strips here. What are you doing? That bent it. Now she's got to come out. Let's see if I can just do this. Okay, so she can sit on the edge of my desk like this and not worry about it. So I'm going to put this behind me, okay, on my other table, and let that sit. So what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit her down like this, but I'm going to put something underneath her. Maybe this. Man, this is a pain in the neck. There. just like that. Okay, now I can worry about something else. Put all this aside. Okay, I've got two little pieces of styrene. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them in underneath the cowl, sticking out a millimeter or so. Just underneath here. There, something like that. Now I can trim that off later. So let's do the second one here. You guys just witnessed the first time this kit's sit on its wheels. And I didn't even mean it. Okay, so there's that one now. And we'll put this on this side. And then we've got this one. So I've got those two tabs. We're going to let those dry. And I'll trim those off later to the length that's going to be not quite so noticeable. So there we are with our car sitting on all four wheels. And it is nice that she's on, you know, she's not sitting, you know, one wheel cockeyed or anything like that. She does sit on all four, so that's good. All four corners are down. That's nice. If she does sit a little high and proud, but that's all right. You can put her trunk lid on. The back end is done. See, the back end's finished. Back end's done. Looks good. It's just the front still got stuff to do. Yeah. So we're just gonna let that sit, let it cure, all that fun stuff. Let my front bumper. And I got to do some Dremel work on our front little, I don't even know what they call this little filler piece. I was contemplating adding in a piece that looks more like the real Dodge Charger. I'll show you here. I was contemplating actually putting in a piece that looks like a real, something out of a real Dodge Charger. Use some AI to generate that and 3D printed this. And it would be cool, but at the same time, I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, how often am I going to lift the hood? You know, probably never. Probably never. It's going to sit on the shelf and the hood's going to go down on it, and that's just going to sit, you know. It's going to sit being displayed like this for a really, really long time, right? With almost nobody ever opening it up. And that's the thing. I mean, yeah, okay, so those times when I do open it up, it'd be cool to see that it's got realistic front plate there, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough for today. I'm gonna let that cure, let that all dry, let this all dry, and we're gonna have to come back another time and maybe finish it up. Maybe. We'll see. I think that's going to be it. I think that's all I've got. As far as installation of everything, I think the front bumper is the last part. Because I've already skipped to step 35. Step 35 is the rear bumper stuff. So maybe next time we're going to add our little bits like gas cap and side view mirror and maybe some interior trunk detail. We'll see. Okay. So I believe this just might be, you know, I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with this kit, guys. Finally, I'm almost there. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you. If you have followed me along with this build this long, then I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. And don't forget, you know, down in the description box, there's links to my other stuff, like my Twitch and my Instagram, my X channel, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to leave a comment too. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you all in the next one.